All right, now it's time to look at some issues with copyright as you're building your Canvas courses. So this course content, copyright law is followed, course breaks, no copyright considerations. We can follow this link and see what it says. Here we go. So here is a Canvas page on copyright resources. You can quickly see all of the copyright and digital copyright tags in the Canvas community. So for example, let's look at digital copyright. And then, so here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different posts that have to do with digital copyright. You can follow those posts and see what they all say. And then there's a bunch of really good, I've looked through some of these, really good links. I really enjoyed this Educators Copyright, but let's go ahead and start with the Library of Congress and see what the Library of Congress has to say. Now this is kind of a long-ish page, but a couple of things in my perusal of it was interesting. Number one, fair use for use in classes. Now this is dealing mostly with making physical copies, going to a copy machine and copying things. One of the main criteria that's used is how spontaneous was the use of the material. So you'll see here, let's see, where did it say? I may just have to search for spontaneous. There we are. As long as copy materials in the public domain, you can copy for a class from one or more semesters. If you wish to copy material that is not in the public domain and for which copyright protection exists, then your copying is more likely to be considered fair if it is spontaneous. Gee, I saw this last night at home on my computer, and it would be great for tomorrow's class. The more sections and semesters you plan to copy particular materials for, the less likely your use is to be considered fair. If you want to use copyrighted material repeatedly, you should obtain permission from the copyright owner. So there is a lot of us, as we build our classes, we may have that spontaneous moment where we go, oh, that'd be great. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into a module. But then what happens is a lot of times we will copy our courses over semester to semester. So it might be something that you want to consider as you are copying your courses from a previous semester into the next semester. If you're going to reuse that material again and again and again, then you might want to get some copyright permissions. Likewise, if you're building courses for others to teach, that's a little bit less spontaneous, and so it might not be deemed fair. Again, this deals mostly with physical copies, physical printed copies, but we have to consider the same issues in our Canvas course. All right, I thought this Educator's Guide to Copyright and Fair Use from the EduBlogger was really good, so let's take a look at that. So the Educator's Guide to Copyright, Fair Use, and Creative Commons. Most of the time where we run into copyright issues are with photos that we take from the web. Now, a lot of times it's really easy to find a photo using Google image search, but a lot of those photos are indeed copyrighted. But you can use some things. Now, there is fair use rules here that you might want to go through and read. Images, curriculum docs and PDFs, handouts, student chapters, music sheets. This is to remove from their blog. Music can be tricky. You probably will be caught, is what this section says. There's lots of law firms that make their bank just by looking for copyright infringement and then notifying the copyright holder and asking them if they want action taken for a fee, of course. And here's the thing. If you are caught, what you do, the law requires that you are notified that you've committed a copyright infringement. And as long as you take swift action and take down the material as quickly as possible, that should be the end of it. But here is an interesting new intellectual property type of license. It's called Creative Commons. It's a little bit different from copyright in that the authors and creators that use Creative Commons know that their work or hope that their work may be found and used by others. And so there's a couple of different places that you can find Creative Commons sources. The reason people use Creative Commons licenses is to make it easier for everyone to share and adapt creative work without concern of copyright infringement. Okay, so there's some good information here on looking for Creative Commons license, how you attribute, especially like Creative Commons images. This is an image from Creative Commons, and here's the attribution. Photo by Chokda, license under Creative Commons Attribution 2.0 generic. You can also take Creative Commons images and customize them for your courses. And when you do that, you generally are restricted by the Creative Commons to say that you can't then copyright that customization, right? You're going to pay it forward by leaving your customization in the Creative Commons. So this is a scene where this picture was Sask scene by Alec Couros. But then the educator put in these words, this quote from Nelson Mandela, and then licensed this compilation as it is licensed under Creative Commons 2.0 by Sue Waters. So Sue took Alec's picture, added that quotation, and now she's saying, y'all, go ahead, use this if you want to. And in fact, if you wanted to add to this image, maybe come over here and put a watermark portrait of Nelson Mandela. You could do that, and you would then be crediting Sue Waters. Okay? Now, I want to show you, you may, so for example, let's watch this video if we can. This is one of the videos I've just cut. Okay. You probably have seen this in the title screen, music by bensound.com. Okay? Let me show you where I got that from. This is bensound.com. It's royalty-free music. And when I found, let's see, what's this one? Okay, that little bit of music. When I click on it, it says here, free Creative Commons license. You are free to use this music in your multimedia project, online videos, YouTube, etc., websites, animations, as long as you credit bensound.com. For example, music, www.bensound.com. So over here, you can see I have it right there, that attribution. So that is an example of using Creative Commons materials. Okay, let's go back to here. There is also this series of videos, Copyright for the Educator. It's about an hour worth of videos. Now, it looks kind of old, and that's an issue with copyright laws that even, well, I think it's the Educator's blog makes the point. These copyright laws were mostly last updated in the 70s, long before the internet came about. So some of those laws seem a little, they get fought out in court sometimes. Okay, one more link. This ought to be pretty good, this one-page PDF on Xavier University. So let's follow that link and, oh no, it's not there. 404 not found. Man, isn't that frustrating? To click on a link and then it's not there. Can you imagine what your students would do if you provided a link and said, this is very important, go check this resource? They clicked that link and they got a 404, this page not found. That'd be frustrating, wouldn't it? And that's the topic of our next video. In our next video, we're going to look at the link validator so that your students don't run into the problem that we just ran into. I find it a little amusing that Canvas is telling us to make sure to validate our links, and here in this Canvas resource document, we have a link that doesn't work. All right, so copyright issues. there are these resources here. Read through them. Most of the time, you're good if you attribute the source. When it comes to videos and music and creative work, again, look for those Creative Commons items. Here in this EduBlog, he gives a bunch of resources at the end for finding, where is it? Here, some good free public domain image websites to use with students. Pixabay, OpenClipArt, Wikimedia Commons, The Commons, Getty Open Art Images, Getty Images. That's also why you can search Unsplash in Canvas. Those are all copyright free, or at least Creative Commons copyrights. And so that's a good quick way to find images. Okay, hope this was useful to you. I'm not a copyright lawyer. I can only point you to the resources. I'm going to hope that now that you know about the resources, we can check that off on our list, knowing that you've considered what it is you're posting in your course room, and that it is either Creative Commons and properly attributed, or is in the public domain, or is fair use. Hope that's helpful. See you soon.